Hi, my name is Zach Campbell. I help people move in and around the Twin Cities every single day, and today I want to talk about down payment. More specifically, why do sellers care how much money a buyer is paying for their down payment if it's not going to change how much money that they're walking away from the deal with? And they do care. And the reason they care is the same reason that an appraisal shortfall guarantee or a buyer skipping the inspection is so effective right now, because the sellers are not having a hard time finding multiple buyers that are willing to pay a lot of money for their house. So they're now turning their attention towards which of these buyers is going to give me the smoothest transaction and the best chance to close. So if we take a look at two hypothetical offers that are the same in all ways except for down payment, you have one buyer that's bringing 3% down with utilizing down payment assistance because they don't even have enough assets to close the deal on their own, and you have another buyer that's paying 20% down. That's $60,000 to $80,000 they have in their bank account ready to bring to closing. I think we can all agree that we'd rather work with the buyer that has $60,000 to $80,000 in their bank account ready to go. And the reason for that is because there's three main ways that deals fall through, and 3 points in a transaction that are going to stress sellers out. Number one, the inspection. Number two, the appraisal. Number three, waiting for the buyer's financing to be fully underwritten and approved. So when it comes to the inspection, the main reason this stresses out sellers is because the inspection takes place and the sellers are now waiting for the buyer to come to them with a big laundry list of items that they have to complete in order for the deal to move forward. It's going to cost them time, it's going to cost them money that they don't want to spend. So if we have a buyer that has $80,000 to close on this deal, you can probably assume that they're not going to be so concerned about some of these smaller repairs because they probably have even more money in their bank account to be able to take care of this stuff themselves after closing, and it's not going to put such a dent in their finances. Whereas if you have a buyer that has 3% down and doesn't even have enough money to pay their closing costs without down payment assistance, you know that every repair that comes up is going to be a big hit to them financially, and they're going to be a lot more likely to come to you with more repairs that you feel like you probably don't want to do before closing, especially in a seller's market. When it comes to the appraisal, even if you as a buyer, you don't have a appraisal shortfall guarantee in your initial offer, if you're showing the sellers that you have 20% down ready to go, then the sellers know that you are much more likely to be able to negotiate with them to come to terms if the appraisal comes in low than a buyer that doesn't have enough money to pay for their down payment and closing costs. If you have a buyer that has a lot of resources, they might be able to come up with a little bit extra cash for closing to close that gap if the appraisal came in low. And a buyer that doesn't have a lot of money, you can be pretty sure that the only way the deal would move forward in the case of a low appraisal is if you as a seller reduce the price that you're willing to accept for the house down to the appraised value, and that could potentially be a big hit to the amount of money you're walking away with. And then lastly, when it comes to the buyer's financing being approved in general, a larger down payment really speaks to how strong of a buyer you're working with. If they have $80,000 saved up, that demonstrates some sort of fiscal responsibility, that somebody that is using an FHA loan because they have lower credit and potentially, a lower down payment, they're struggling to save money, you can tell that the person with a larger down payment probably is going to have a much lower chance of having their financing fall through for anything less than losing their job suddenly. So I think that everybody can probably relate to these reasons, and you can understand why a seller would rather work with a buyer that has a lot of money in the bank compared to somebody that doesn't have a lot of money in the bank. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that this helps you write stronger offers. I do have another video on explaining why the appraisal shortfall guarantee is the #1 strongest way that you can make your offers better. So if you're looking for more advice, check that video out. It's in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.